Welcome to DB CyberTech. My name is Sean, and in this video, I will walk you through how to set up the basic configurations for your DB CyberTech system. Let's get started, shall we? First, enter your username and password provided by DB CyberTech Technical Support to log in. Remember that the Aspecto platform is accessible on Google Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. For this video, I will be using Training. After logging into the system, you'll be directed to the home page for the Aspecto platform. Here, you will be able to see all the capabilities of your purchased product, as well as shortcuts to the most often used pages. If you look in the top right corner of the screen, you should see the name assigned to the login user. The default is initial user, but again, for this example, I'm logged in as Training. If you click on the name, a drop-down will appear that will provide you access to commonly used pages, such as changing the password, logging out of the system, the about information about your system, and even your specific license. Here you can see all the features that are within your license and then the exact license itself. To get back to the home page, press the blue DB CyberTech logo in the top left corner. Now let's get into the initial configuration process, which you can find under the Settings tab. First, let's start with the network page. The IP address, the net mask, and the gateway will already be configured as part of the ISO installation. However, this page also allows you to assign a unit name. So if you see here, it's Training. And if you look in the top left corner, that's where the unit name is. So Training. You can also set up DNS servers if desired. The next button, Time, allows you to assign an NTP server and set the time zone that the system is located in. The system defaults to American Central Standard Time. Note that any change to this information will require a system reboot to implement. The next tab, Capture Sources, sets up the capture sources for the Aspecto platform to capture traffic on. The capture ports will link automatically when they detect a signal, but you want to make sure to enable the ports that you want to capture traffic for continuous monitoring on. This page is also used to confirm that traffic is passing in the first place. The next tab is Authentication. Authentication can be done in one of two ways: through native authentication, in which the system authorizes users to log in, or via LDAP, in which an Active Directory server is used to authenticate logging into the system. For expedience, we will cover only native authentication in this presentation, as there is a separate video that provides guidance for LDAP configuration. Now let's focus on the native configuration. For native authentication, you may decide if this functionality is enabled, if additional users can be added, the minimum password length, and the default session inactivity timeout. Notice that this is in seconds. So after 3,600 seconds or 1 hour, the system will automatically log out. Now, if you decide to disable the native authentication, you need to make sure that LDAP is already configured. Because if you disable native authentication without having LDAP set up, you will lock yourself out of your system. So again, set LDAP first if you're going to disable native. The next tab, Security, deals with configuring multiple settings, such as the SSL settings, the user interface ports, the strict transport security HTTP header, and the shell password. Now, if you wish to use your own certified key pair, select the User Supplied button and enter the key password, and the associated certificate. You can also force a secure connection by selecting Force SSL. Limiting the user interface ports also improves the security profile of the administrative interface. One suggestion is to limit access to only port 443 so that only HTTPS connections are accepted. Note, test the HTTPS connection first to ensure that it is operational before disabling port 80. Next, the strict transport security HTTP header protects the administrative interface from protocol downgrade attacks and cookie hijacking, so it requires connecting browsers to interact only with secure HTTPS connections. The shell password allows the user to set a two-factor shell password, which would be used in connection with the Aspecto system shell password for advanced troubleshooting. Now, we're going to go back up to Settings and click User Management. Under the User Management dropdown, there are multiple tabs to customize. First is the users. Here's where you can see all the various users that have access to the Aspecto platform when native authentication is enabled. Here you can see the privileges a user has, the number of failed password attempts, as well as their session timeout. So for example, again, after 3,600 seconds or 1 hour of inactivity, the system will automatically log these users out. In the screen, you can also create new users and customize their settings or privileges, as well as edit current users and even delete users as well. Under the Roles tab, you can customize the different authorities within the system. There are 4 default roles: administrator, operator, unrestricted, and user. You can create, delete, and modify roles as needed. See the Aspecto user documentation for more detailed information regarding roles. Under API keys, the Aspecto platform allows customers to pull data via external scripts using APIs. Authentication keys for API calls can be generated or entered in the screen by clicking New API Key. If the system auto-generates a key, this message will pop up. Again, so if you see up here it says leave blank to auto-generate, that means it'll automatically do it. So if I use training, all data must be collected when the key is generated, as it cannot be viewed later. Now under here, under Views, the Aspecto platform allows the user to save specific view filters that can be used across multiple screens. This concludes the basic configuration tutorial video. For any additional support or questions you may have about configuration, please contact DB CyberTech technical support at their email, support@dbcybertech.com, or by phone at 1-800-375-0592. Again, that's support@dbcybertech.com or 1-800-375-0592. I'm Sean from DB CyberTech. We'll see you soon.